In this video, we look at 3 of the best anti-slice drivers on the market. One is packed full of technology, one has a very fancy face, and the other, well, the other is something to see.
First up, we have the Stealth HD from Taylormade, which has the carbon face. 60 individual layers of the stuff if you're into that kind of thing. One of the reasons I really like this driver is Taylormade have tried to overcome something which is a problem with a lot of other draw bias drivers. Fairway number 1 of the day. One of the problems with draw bias drivers is usually the center of gravity has to be pushed away from the back of the club. The lower and deeper a center of gravity is, the more forgiving that driver will be. And when that center of gravity moves forward, the moment of inertia becomes lower. The moment of inertia is resistance to twisting at impact, but you can think about it as just forgiveness. Always do this with driver tests. I always leave thinking, why am I not using this anti-slice driver, this anti-duff wedge? Taylormade say they flipped this design flaw with the Stealth HD, and apparently this has the highest MOI of any of the Stealth drivers. Now, you already know a lot about the Stealth drivers. I've done a review. If you've not checked that out, you can do here. And when you look down on this driver, you can see it is toed in, so the toe is moved further towards the target, but it's not obscene. I can still put this behind the ball and think I can hit a reasonable shot and not pull it miles off the planet. Sound-wise, feel-wise is literally the same as all the other Stealth drivers. And performance-wise so far is absolutely unbelievable. The weight port is still at the back of the club, it's still got that aerodynamic design. For me, this is something which is just really simple. There's no thrills, there's nothing fancy. And this driver has actually been set up for David, who is my brand manager, who I think we can all agree here has the worst slice in the history of humanity. I don't know if he's going to get it back. No, I just ruined the shot traces. Oh. It went left though. Next up, we have the Cobra King LTD X Max. I hate the name, and I will now be referring to this driver as the Cobra. Whoa, let me just stop you right there. How do anti-slice drivers actually work? What many manufacturers do is they set the toe slightly more closed than the heel, and this points the club off to the left of the target for a right-handed golfer. This enables the club face to stay a little bit more closed, but it's not the only thing that manufacturers do. The Cobra driver really shows this off quite well because of this weight within the heel. So what a lot of manufacturers will do, they will place more mass within that section of the golf club, and that allows the rest of the club to turn around that mass. Now, whereas the Stealth HD was simple, there was really not a lot to it apart from all the internal workings and all the behind the scenes tech, this is very much in front of your face. This screams anti-slice. Feels great as well. So this range of Cobra drivers, I love the look, I love the sound, I love the feel. And then what Cobra have done is added a lot of draw bias and forgiveness to this club. You'll notice that the bottom of the club, it has a few different things going on. It's got this back weight of 10 grams, and it's also got this heel weight here, which is 3 grams. The back weight, that adds forgiveness. And then the heel weight, which helps the toe close over and point the club more left for a right-handed golfer. But behind the ball, this just looks like a really good driver. Like, it hides the tech really well. Oof. And you can change these weights and adjust the shaft sleeve to give you more draw bias. With a 10 gram weight at the back and 5 in the heel, apparently this is going to give a golfer 5 yards of extra draw bias. Switch the 10 grams into the heel and the golfer will get 11 yards of draw. Whack the 10 grams in the heel and adjust the loft setting to draw and you will get 18 yards of draw. Now, 18 yards of draw sounds a lot. That much. I have to say though, the look, the feel, and just the overall vibe, if I'm not too old to say that, of this driver, I really like. It's also got a lot of the other tech that I actually really like from this series. So it's got the infinity face, it's got the carbon crown and the carbon in the sole as well. It's just an all-round really good driver. But will it help you stop slicing it? Whoa, 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 whoa. Why are you actually slicing the ball? That's just an absolutely fantastic fade. Probably a good example of why this driver is good, but allow me to actually try and slice it. If that club travels off to the inside, so the left for a right-handed golfer, and that club face is pointing to the right of the path and to the right of the target line, so in this direction, that's going to cause loads of curve and that slice. But like I said, if you really want more information on how this all works, please check this video out here. And finally, we have what some would call the ultimate anti-slice driver, where the designer descended into the pits of hell and emerged with this, the Powerpod. So this driver is slightly old now. I think it was first released in the late 80s, early 90s, and oh, now that is anti-slice. Holy moly. It's a truly, let's be polite, let's call it a unique club. It's got this massive offset which moves the club further back than the shaft. That allows more time for the club face to close. The toe is massively forward of the offset to close that club face even more. It's got a design which stretches the weight a little bit more into the heel again, so that club face can turn around that center of mass. And it's got this circular pod shape. I don't know actually why it's got a circular pod shape. There doesn't seem to be any particular reason for that. The face is also red. It's like a Stealth before its time, really, isn't it? Just noticed the shaft as well. It's the Charisma shaft. Standard flex. What does that mean? Do you know what that means? Standard flex Charisma? No, no idea. Oh my word. Right, I'm gonna aim a little bit more down the right with this. Actually sneaky long, that. I really want to try this driver and show this driver just to really exemplify what can happen when people go searching in really dark corners to try and cure a slice. Look at that. If you guys have been following my channel for a while, you know I'm not a natural drawer of the golf ball. There's actually another version of this driver called the Tiger Shark. Much better name. When we talked about the Stealth HD driver and how Taylormade were talking about it's an anti-slice club which is forgiving, this is the opposite. If you hit this out the toe, if you hit this out the heel, the bottom of the top, it's game over. You can feel the club like twisting so much. And I'm pretty sure a third of all these drivers that were sold had to be sent back because they broke. But if you're trying to draw it, with anti-slice clubs, if the claims are too good to be true, then they probably are. And this is one of those times. I mean, this is truly one of the worst looking clubs I've ever seen in my life. No, I'm gonna put it, this is the worst looking club I've ever seen in my life. But just wait a second, because will this club turn me into a perpetual forever slicer? Yep, that is not going to be going to the right-hand side, is it? Holy moly, that's in a bush near the Eiffel Tower. In many respects, it's common sense, isn't it, to believe that if you're using a club which massively is aimed to the left-hand side, which massively reduces a slice, will that slice just then become a part of your golfing DNA? Will it exacerbate itself? Now, there's no actual evidence to suggest that. So I don't believe that if you get an anti-slice driver, that your swing will become more slice-like. The only thing it could do, maybe psychologically, is actually stop you practicing to try and get rid of the slice. Because that movement, that over the top, right shoulder getting high, swinging off to the left-hand side, you will be losing distance, you'll be losing some control, so it is still worth trying to improve your swing and improve your game. Don't just rely on the driver to make you better. Definitely don't just rely on this driver to make you better. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already, and you want more information on drivers, check this video out here. Get that out of the way for you.